In this week's episode of the Stockscores Market Minutes, I'm going to talk about 5 essential trading rules. Whether you are a day trader, swing trader, or position trader, these rules will help you do better in the market. I will then do my regular weekly market analysis. We'll look at the equity markets, decide if there's maybe a crash coming. There's some concern about that given some sell-off at the end of this week. I will look at the day trade of the week on FAMI, and we're going to do a market scan on Stockscores to find swing trades. That's all coming up. All right, 5 essential trading rules. These are things that I have learned the hard way. I've been trading for 30 years, and one of the things that I had to teach myself was the knowledge of how to trade. And I think many traders come into the market without taking the time to first learn. They think it looks easy, but I'll tell you that while trading is simple, it is not easy. It takes time to learn, just like anything else. If you want to be a good skier, you have to learn and practice. If you want to be a lawyer, you go to school and learn how to be a lawyer. It's no different for trading. You have to learn before you start risking real capital. And that leads me into my next rule, and that is make sure that you can tolerate the risk that you take. If you are risking more capital than you are willing to lose, you will make emotional mistakes. Most of us have an emotional attachment to money, and what that does is causes us to get anxious, worried about losing, and we end up making very predictable mistakes of human behavior. And in fact, there are computers programmed to take advantage of those mistakes. If you want to be a good trader, you have to overcome your emotion. All right, the next one is overcoming the fear of missing out. I would say that this is the most destructive of the emotional problems that traders have. There's always going to be the potential for a stock trade to work, but we can't think about the possibility that a trade will work. Instead, we have to think about the probability that it will work. And what happens for many traders is as the stock is going higher, they feel like they are missing out on a great opportunity, or perhaps they are listening to the hype on the internet about a particular company. Well, that is at its highest when the stock has gone up a lot, is emotionally priced and on the verge of a breakdown. And so if you succumb to the fear of missing out, you are going to lose money in the market. All right, number 4 is simply chill. The market moves quickly. It is easy for us to get anxious and emotional and make decisions that are based on our fight or flight response rather than our thinking. And it's important to sometimes just slow down and really think about what you're doing and don't let your emotions get into the trading decision. Now, this occurs with the entry, with the exit, with managing risk, so many ways that our emotions can get involved. Now, my last essential rule is don't be a gambler. You should be trading a strategy that you have researched and proven works over a large number of trades. All of my strategies are based on data analysis. I don't trade on a whim or a gut feel. I trade off of data. If the data tells me that something works, if I can test a strategy over thousands of trades and find that it consistently works, well, then that is something that I will trade. Of course, I also teach those in the Stockscores courses that we have on the website. So chill, don't gamble, manage risk effectively, make sure that you know what you are doing, and overcome that fear of missing out. All right, those are the essential 5 rules. I could go on and have 20 of these, but that's a good way to get started. All right, let's get into this week's market analysis, and starting off with the US markets as we always do. And here we have a chart of the S&P 500. And at the top, I talked about some weakness this week that maybe will get people concerned about a correction, a crash. We had pretty good selling pressure on Friday. What's happened is we've broken through some minor support zones. and we had a little bit of panic selling at the end of the day, but on very light volume. So it's not that much of a worry. The general trend is still up. I think this makes me lower my rating to neutral because it could snowball into something else. But what gives me some security is when I look at this long-term 3-year weekly chart, I can see that that upward trend is still intact. We've had weeks like this before, and it's not really that big of a deal in the context of the longer-term trend. We do get worried if the trend line gets broken, if the market builds a falling top and then breaks the upward trend line. That hasn't happened yet. So for now, we'll stay bullish long-term, but lower the rating to neutral short-term. Same can be said for the NASDAQ 100. It had some selling pressure on Friday, but it has not violated any trend lines. It's just very short-term support zones have been broken. Now, we shouldn't forget that September is historically the worst performing month of the year in the market, and so it's normal to get some selling pressure in September. It really sets up for a good rally in October, which tends to last until May. So when we look at the small cap index, the IWM, I can see that this market has been going sideways. We had a little bit of weakness the last 4 or 5 days, but we haven't broken any support. I think we could come down a fair bit before we have to start getting worried. On to the Canadian markets. And here is the TSX 60 short-term chart. Same kind of thing, a little bit of selling late this week, but really hasn't broken any support zones. So we're not too worried there. Same on the weekly chart. No support has been broken. The TSX Venture gave back a little bit, but it is more in a bearish market situation. You can see the trend is down. And what happened here is it got up to the top of this channel and it got stuck, and that's normal. And I think that we are more likely to see this market go lower than higher in the near term until that downward trend line can be broken. All right, on to currencies, and here's the US dollar. Made a little bit of a gain this week, sort of bouncing off of support. I still think we are working on a reversal program for the US dollar. You know, we had this heavy weakness there. We've been going sideways for a while, but we have built a rising bottom. We just need to make that break through resistance. We tried 1 week, kind of failed. Let's see if we can try again, but for now, pretty much neutral on the US dollar. Bitcoin hit resistance. We talked about this resistance many times in recent weeks at the downward trend line, and it hit that this week. It couldn't break through, rolled over in one of the worst weeks for Bitcoin in a couple of months, and I think that it shows that perhaps this can move back toward the lows. So I'm not particularly bearish, but I am more bearish than bullish on Bitcoin. And Ethereum also had some weakness this week. Its chart doesn't look as bad because the trend is still up. It got stuck at resistance. We'll see, maybe it just goes sideways for a little while, but unless that upward trend line gets broken, I wouldn't get too concerned just yet. On to commodities, and here is gold down a little bit this week with that little bit of strength in the US dollar, kind of a neutral chart. Oil, again, very narrow trading range, low volatility, and that shows that oil is stable but not particularly exciting. And finally, the fear chart, which is the VIX, it had a little spike on Friday, not breaking any downward trend lines. We see these spikes once in a while, and they really haven't gone anywhere of late. And so until the market really starts to break upward trend lines, I wouldn't consider the VXX or any of its derivative type ETFs to be a big concern. So my ratings then, long-term bullish on US and Canadian stocks, but short-term neutral given the weakness of the past week, and neutral on both time frames for gold and oil. Short-term weakness this past week will have many concerned that a September correction is coming. However, thus far, the upward trend lines are still intact, so weakness is only short-term and it may set up for a good bounce back in the near term. Gold and oil are relatively boring, and fear is still low, but it did rise a little bit on Friday. All right, let's now jump into the day trade of the week, and this week I am going to show a stock that we traded on Friday in the Stockscores Active Live webinar, and there was multiple ways to trade this one. So it's a great example of how some of my day trade strategies can be put to work. So we always rely on the action candle for the day trader strategy, and it triggered that right there, which led to this big run. And that was a nice little move, breaking the upward trend line in here, quick profit on that one. Or you could trade the pullback play, which is another one of my strategies. It triggered right there for a nice rally into the close. It's another option just to buy it there and hold for the day. And in this instance, that worked well. That is where I get the economics of this trade. For every $100 of risk, 9,170 shares would be purchased. That's just under $4,400 of capital. Because this is a stock that's under $3, you can't margin this one. So you would have to put up the full $4,400. That's an $850 gain, a 19.3% return on a one-day hold. All right, well, let's take a look now at the Stockscores market scan in search of opportunities. And this week, what I want to do is set up for some swing trading searches. So the first thing I'm going to do is set my default chart time frame to something appropriate for swing trading. I go down to the chart options tab, and I'm going to select intraday, and we're going to make this, I don't know, let's say 15 days. And we're going to make it 15-minute candles. Now that 15-minute may not have gone in there. I think I have to do this in 2 steps. Let's just try this first. Yes, I do. So let's go back into the chart options and now make this 15. There we go. And plot the chart. And we should now have a 15-day, 15-minute chart. And now any chart that I bring up will be a 15-day, 15-minute chart. Now what I look for as a swing trader is breaks on this kind of chart time frame. So here's FAMI, which was our day trade of the week, but it also set up a pretty good swing trade because it broke on Friday morning from that low volatility, and it moved up nicely since then. Now I think it's a bit late. If you bought it Friday morning, then it was a good hold. What I want to do now is just show you a market scan that will allow you to find some of these things. It's one of the presets under the active trader scans. And again, you have to be an active trader member of Stockscores to use this stuff. So here we go. Run the market scan. Found 100 stocks. Okay, well, that's too many. So let's go back and set some other filters to try to fine tune this scan. I prefer to swing trade stocks under $10 or $15 simply because it gives me a little bit better bang for the dollar. Lower price stocks tend to make bigger percentage moves. So let's run it that way. All right, now we've got 59. That's manageable. And I'm going to search through these charts looking for stocks that are breaking from low volatility. So this first one is a good example of what we're looking for. It did it about a week ago. So here is a stock that's trading quietly, and then it comes alive with abnormal activity, and it comes alive with volume. If you run this scan every day, these are the stocks that you're going to find. I'm not too interested in it now because it's into the upward trend that started back here. I want to catch them when they're just starting to move. So I like to run this market scan early in the day. There's FAMI, which we showed already. I like to run it early in the day in the first hour because it's a good way to find things that are coming alive. Here's CYRN. It came alive at the end of the day on Friday, breaking from low volatility. So now I like that, but I want to take a look at the longer term chart. So I'm going to take a look at the 6-month weekly or daily chart rather. And there I can see some issues because this stock is still in a downward trend. It hasn't broken the downward trend line. It's got a fair bit of resistance right here because the stock traded sideways there for a while. And then it's going to encounter more resistance there. And so based on that, although I'm encouraged by the abnormal activity, I would say it's a 6 out of 10 because it is facing a little bit of an uphill battle. But that's the process. We look for stocks trading abnormally, and then we check their longer term chart to see if they have the right signal. Now there's a few more rules to that, and those are taught in the Stockscores Active Trader course, which you can get at the Stockscores website if you so desire. There again, sideways trading, boring, comes alive today, 52, 53 cents, closes the day at 60. I think it's likely to continue higher. However, how high is dependent upon what the the daily chart shows. And on the daily chart, you see some resistance in here from these old price peaks. That's going to be a bit of a barrier. I don't think it's a huge one. I think it's probably more likely to get up into the 85 to 90 cent mark. We'll see how that progresses in the days ahead. Of course, swing trading is all about stocks that can make moves over the course of a week or two, and it typically starts with an abnormal break from low volatility on these 13, 15-minute charts. You can even trade off of the 30-minute chart with this strategy. So I just cycle through. What I'm trying to find are those stocks that just came alive on Friday. Most of them will have come alive early in the day. Here's one that came alive on Thursday. You can see boring, sideways trading, starts to behave abnormally, And it's at $1.10, closes Friday at $1.20. I think it's likely to continue higher. We inspect the longer term time frame to see where it's going to encounter resistance. And I can see there's going to be a little bit of resistance there at $1.20, maybe $1.30. So yeah, it's not a great setup. Again, I would have given that a 6 out of 10. All right, well, I think we'll call it an end to the video there. Hope you've enjoyed it. If so, please like and subscribe to the channel. It always helps to have the message get out there to lots and lots of traders. So I appreciate your help with that. Most importantly, trade well.